Hello friends, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Last two videos we talked about challenges in investing into stock market. Again we talked about challenges in investing into the real estate market. Now we'll talk about the opportunities, the new upcoming technologies and solutions that is going to open a market in a large way for the retail investors. So what is that solution is about? So the solution for retail investors to get into the real estate market is called fractionalization. So what is fractionalization? Fractionalization is something where one real estate asset can be fractionalized into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 different parts. And the property or asset where as an individual investor, it is difficult because of the high entry barrier for you to invest. Now you can invest in a small fraction, similar to we buy the shares of the company. And the similar concept, the fractionalization is where the retail investors could be able to. How big is the fractionalization market? I have one report which is almost 3 years before report that according to the Financial Express, the real estate fractionalization is almost a $20 billion market. In Indian rupees, almost a 1.5 trillion Indian rupees. And this data is almost 3 years old. If you compare today's data, it might be even the market has been doubled. Another important news and good news is that last year, SEBI, who are the financial regulators of the capital market, they had issued a guideline for fractionalization. That sends a clear signal that when the SEBI is looking for, thinking around fractionalization of real estate, that means there's a huge growth. In current economy, real estate contributes 11%, into the India GDP. Government is expected that real estate should contribute at least 13% into the GDP to become a $5 trillion economy. Bringing the retail investors, the fractionalization is going to bring the retail investors' investments into the real estate that would stabilize the market. The another reason is real estate now becomes as an investment class which has another consistent and stabilized growth. 20 years before or 15 years before, typically the myth, I don't want to call myth, it might be true also, the thinking everybody was thinking, if I buy something for 1 crore rupees, the price in 3 years or 4 years can be doubled. So real estate was a class couple of years before, 10 years, 15 years before, where the money was doubling and tripling in years of. So the question was, why somebody has to open the factory, why someone has to go and do the work, why not do the real estate, invest in the real estate and double the money, triple the money, which was the wrong practice. Luckily now the real estate is becoming is a mainstream investment class where the growth rate is 10% to 12%. And keeping that in the mind, I think the government also is thinking that if they wanted to reach out to the $5 trillion economy or $7 trillion economy, the real estate should contribute majority into the Indian GDP. And for that purpose, the regulators are open for fractionalization, maybe one of the reason. The another reason is that's the only way the retail investors can invest into the real estate. So what is fractionalization? Is basically you're owning a fractional real estate into, you own, and when the property price appreciate, if it is commercial, then you are eligible to get the rental incomes onto the property. When the property price appreciate, you have an option to exit out in future. If the property is sold, you get then appreciated values. So there are many benefits onto the real estate fractionalization. What I would like to talk more about next step of fractionalization is called tokenization. That is one step ahead of the fractionalization, where there is a technology called blockchain. The fractionalization on the blockchain technology is called tokenization. And that's actually going to bring the liquidity into the market. Currently in the traditional market, as we talked in the last video, the real estate is an illiquid asset market. With fractionalization, now you have an opportunity to get in and invest into the market. but fractionalization is still not opening a liquid solution for the liquidity. People are still stuck, and if they want to exit out, there is no way, there's not easy way of exiting out. The next step of fractionalization is a tokenization. Fractionalize the asset on a blockchain technology, and then that creates tokens, and you have an opportunity to exit out and sell those tokens in future to other retail investors. We can talk all the details in more details on the next video, how this is legally compliant, what are the ways that what are the ways you can invest into this real estate market, where you should be careful, what you should not do and don't do, kind of things into the real estate. We'll go more deep dive into the next session to understand what are the right way of investing into the properties through the tokenization. And if you like the video, please subscribe, like it video, and I would love if you can comment on the videos. Thank you very much. Have a good day.